As I mentioned earlier, one of the first concerns is that access to funding, making sure that it's sufficient and it's equitable. How you define equitable when it comes to more than 2,000 taxing authorities asking for funds, I have no idea. And that's something that, as residents in the state of North Dakota, all of us are putting that in the hands of our elected officials at a state level. I don't know if equitable means it's based on population. If that's the case, I have a real concern for communities like Mandan and communities that are much smaller than us. We had a hard enough time lobbying for legislation for our community and some of the smaller communities across the state, which was defeated. And it was defeated because there were some larger communities that didn't see it as a benefit to them, despite the fact that it was a benefit to smaller cities. As a mother who has children in school and children that utilize the parks, I want to know that there is a portion of my property tax payment that's going to benefit me in those capacities. And that's why we have elected officials, because we entrust with them the spending of those collections. Now, if we remove their capacity to make real local decisions, and we have to rely on them to fight for that funding that I'm willing to pay and allocate for those services, but now they have to go fight for it to bring it back to my community, to pay for the parks and the schools. It makes me very anxious as a mother. Am I going to have the same quality that I'm receiving right now when it comes to an education for my children in the city of Mandan? Or is some of that funding going to be siphoned off to a school that might wage a better argument in front of our state legislators for the needs that they have? So it does impact us on all levels and all residents, whether you're an elected official or you're just a resident. You are going to see an impact if Measure 2 passes, and I'm fearful that that impact isn't going to be good. I think Measure 2 has to be a one-size-fits-all approach. Just because you've got so many entities vying for money out of the same pot, that you've got to come up with a formula that is based on a one-size-fits-all. I don't know how else you could do it, and to do it any other way would really be discriminating against different communities. And it's going to be something that we designate to relatively few people, those that represent us at the state legislature. Across the state, you see communities working together. A lot of that is the collaboration that we receive through associations like the League of Cities, but we're all talking to each other, sharing best practices, trying to find the most effective and efficient ways to operate our communities. If Measure 2 passes, and there's a pot of money, and it's standing in front of all of us, we're all going to be running in the same direction. And I think you're going to lose that cohesiveness, the collaboration you see across communities, across school boards and park boards, because we're all after one thing, and that's adequate funding for our community or the boards that we represent.